Hey, so I just got back from California and I received a special request to do an update on our hibiscus. So here it is. So this right here are the remnants of a Luna White that I thought didn't make it. That's a weed. But right here we have what looks like Luna White. So we'll see. It also looks like a hydrangea, but I don't believe I planted a hydrangea right here. This right here is our other Luna White that has made it. There are little buds for flowers coming in on these taller bits. Okay, so it is the next day, and over here we have the Luna Red Hibiscus. It's actually overgrowing the space, in my opinion, and although I love it, we got it as a gift. We are probably going to move it because it doesn't match color-wise. We have pinks and purples and pastels, and this is like huge red dinner plate flowers that will be coming out of here. You can actually see tiny, tiny buds forming. It's also being crowded by this peach that gets quite heavy as these peaches grow, so it can't really flourish in this space. If you look down here, you can see where I had cut the old stems a little bit higher than usual. You can cut those way down to the ground, but I didn't do it this time. They are kind of unsightly, but look, you can't even see it once it grows this big. And then to the left of that, we have the Midnight Masquerade, which I bought because of the leaf color, especially in autumn. And I think, yep, there's some flower buds, tiny, tiny, tiny in there growing, but it's also kind of in a bad space because of the same, it's actually a fruit cocktail tree with apricot on this lower part of the tree. And it also has red flowers, which I'm not too fond of, so we may move it. You can see how it also doesn't really fit this space. And down there you can see where I cut last year's stems, also a little higher than usual. I usually like to go all the way down to the ground in early spring, but this year I kind of lazily just lopped them right there. And then the last two hibiscus that we have is this one, which is called the Dark Mystery. It has green and red leaves, and I don't really see buds yet, but flowers will come out of this spot here eventually. I cut this one all the way down to the ground so you don't see old stems in there, except for down there you can see how closely I cut it. And it's about, what, maybe 3 by 2 inside size. And then on this side is the plum crazy, which is kind of getting smothered by the delphinium. I don't really know what's going on right here. Maybe some animals have been smushing this area, but this is where the buds will be coming out. In there, and there. And these leaves are green with red veining, and the flowers are like this mauvish purple. And it's kind of a funky shape right now. Down there you can see where I cut the last year's stems. And then the stems. In terms of watering, I don't do anything special. Really, I mostly just forget. On a really hot day, I'll come out and run the hose, but they're pretty established, so they're happy and they're growing and they come back year after year. Hey, so it's yet another day, but I just wanted to say that the cool thing about the hardy hibiscus is that you get a tropical looking plant in an area that's not the tropics. I mean, like in California you would have a tropical hibiscus and it grows all year. It can get really huge. And the difference is with these is that they die back to the ground every single year. So they look completely dead over the entire course of the winter, and then it actually takes them quite a while before they start to pop up. So I believe it was like the end of May or the beginning of June where I saw like little tiny sprouts coming up. And now that it is the end of June, in fact today is the last day of June, there are still no blooms on the plant, but they will last until fall once they do start blooming. So I'm expecting to see some blooms maybe by the end of July. And then they'll be there for August, September, October, and they just keep opening up new flowers basically every day or so. You'll see like in the middle of the plant right here, there's a bunch of different bulbs, and each one of those opens on separate occasions. Sometimes multiples open at the same time, but it really is a really cool plant, and you just have to have a little bit of patience while you're waiting for it to come back after the winter. That said, I don't have any experience growing this plant anywhere other than here in Michigan, and we're in a zone 6A, so we have a winter with snow and all that. I don't know how it would act in an area where there isn't frost. Like, I don't know what would happen if I planted this plant in California. Would it die in the winter and then come back again in June or whatever month? I don't know. So keep that in mind. And if you're interested, I do have a video on how to take care of hibiscus in the spring and one in the fall. I started making one to show what hibiscus looks like in the fall, how the leaves change, but I haven't put it out, so I'll probably put it out this fall instead. And if you have any questions, just let me know in the comments and I'll see if I can answer them. By the way, I tell myself that I'm going to move that hibiscus every single year, and then I don't because it's a lot of work, and I really love the plant actually, the red ones that don't fit in right where they are, but they also have sentimental value, so I would hate to lose them since we got them as gifts from Jared's mom. So yeah, don't expect those to be moved anytime soon. Okay, this time it's the same day, but I did have a few more things I wanted to say about the hibiscus before I end this video, and that is that in general with plants, they say you should water them about 1 inch per week, and so I try to do that with the hibiscus, but we're in Michigan, so often it just rains and I don't have to water. But if your hibiscus looks like this hydrangea here, you can see it's limp, then it's definitely a sign that you need to water it, because this is another hydrangea that looks a little limp, but you can see that it needs it, so just go ahead and water it. The wren is sitting in the house. So cute. Oh yeah, and the last thing that I wanted to say is that if you planted a tropical hibiscus here, which I have, actually Valen, my son, who's right there gardening, got me a tropical hibiscus for Mother's Day one year, and I planted it in the ground here in Michigan, and it survived throughout the whole growing season, but it did not come back the next year. So I could have probably brought it inside, but we don't have enough light to keep it alive, or if I had a greenhouse or something, maybe it would survive, but otherwise it will definitely not survive the winter. So figure out which hardiness zone you're in and check the tag. On the tag it should say how cold your plant can handle, and plant accordingly. And most of the time I think they like full sun from what I know, and they grow about 4x4 before dying back at the end of the year. So yeah, enjoy your hibiscus. Oh yeah, and if you do buy an annual hibiscus and you can't keep it in a greenhouse, then you can just enjoy it for the season, and it's okay. I did. I loved it. So